Right, folks. Well, the beggars are back. Unfortunately, we can't all be together, I'm afraid. Just work commitments for everybody at the moment is a bit, a bit hectic. We're looking a bit far in advance here, so we've not really even got odds to go on at the moment. But we thought we'd get together and talk about, at the very least, the Betfair Chase lads. We found out today, I believe, that Royal Pagani is a non-runner.
Yeah.
So that only leaves us a field of 5, as you say, Sean. You've got A Plu Tard, good old favourite Bristol Di Mai. Eldorado Allen still in there at the minute. Throwed on your boys, Marky, and then Protectorat. So what are we thinking then, lads?
Probably all the same. By the sounds of it, I'd imagine. It's not.
We've got to film the video somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we're all quite glaringly obvious, isn't it? Really, after what we saw, was it last weekend, wasn't it? That there's that A Plu Tard of old back that sort of, or not A Plu Tard of old, but the A Plu Tard that we know can put in a shift. I mean, everyone, it was all gunned up for Galvin, wasn't it? But all right, didn't have the best around, so I certainly wouldn't discredit Galvin for the rest of the season. We know that there's
I forgive him that one person.
There's bigger plans for that horse anyway, quite clearly. But I mean, look, we know what Frodon can do. Eldorado Allen can put in a good shift. You've got, well, Bristol Di Mai, the king of Haydock. He protects Pratt, who always runs a good race, always a consistent horse. But yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Does anyone see past the favourite? Really?
Not
is
really.
It a matter of is it a matter of like if you were putting a bet on, you're going to look to see by how many lengths as opposed to?
It looks like it, doesn't it? Because
I mean, it's hard to make a justification, unless you're going with a heart ruling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which I bet someone will.
Yeah. So then, Mark.
We're going to start there. I think, like the main talking point of this one is going to be about A Plu Tard, but like I say, we found out Royal Pagani, as it could become a non-runner. That was actually another one would have spiced the race up a little bit. As Sean just said, probably the best way to describe Bristol Di Mai, he's the king of Haydock.
You can't take away what he's achieved there. Yeah.
No, I think it was 2 years ago, as I was talking with Jamie earlier, when he had that battle with Candace Obo to win it. And, if it's going to be, if the ground's going to be considered running on a puddle, as such, then Bristol Di Mai will give it his all, even at the age of 11. Frodon, hopefully he runs. I think he had a great victory last time out of Kempton.
Dug that out, didn't he? Very well.
But he's massive odds. He's 20-1, and no one thought he'd go on and win the King George. But we are looking at a horse who won the Gold Cup last year with Rachel Blackmore on board, and it was very impressive. So Protectorat, as you say, is another one in there, and I believe one that Sean's mentioned a few times, Eldorado Allen. Second last time out of Wetherby. So it's a very, very entertaining strong field. But
you'd have to think that they are, sort of playing it out for second sort of thing, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
But
100%. Yeah. But I think this could be the route for A Plu Tard to potentially go back to the Gold Cup again next year. But we all know how competitive and how strong the Gold Cup will be next year with other entries in there.
I've got to be honest, Mark, I'd probably be a bit tempted at 20-1 to put a bit of money in your lad.
I would as well, I said, because, he definitely proved at the age of 10, at the end of the day, age is only a number, as we know, but he definitely proved that he's definitely got fight left in him. I thought he was still...
And well, like I say, not because, as you say, Sean, not because I see something that nobody else has or anything like that. Like you say, you think A Plu Tard, give them, won the other day, but I just think, Frodon, like you say, he's a try, you know what I mean? He always gives you
he's all heart, isn't he? That's what he is. He's all heart.
And although Bristol, as you say, crowned the king of, Haydock over the years, last couple of times, he's like saying, Mark, giving everything, but you know, you can tell, like, you know, maybe the heart's willing, but the legs are not, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think, you know, I mean, I've always had that agreement of like, you know, you have, you know, horses for courses, and you have certain horses that run better with certain jockeys. And, you know, I feel that if you put any other jockey on top of Frodon, I feel Frodon would still give 110% in every race. But, you know, like Bryony and Frodon has that connection between the two, that they know what they want. You know, as Bryony stipulated when he won the Ryanair back in 2019, you know, it was the horse who was telling her, come on, we can do this. You know, so yeah, it's what I think it's a massive price, 20-1, but it's definitely one.
I'm like saying, just glancing across at my other screen there, and I think you're quite right. I think that's actually a bit of a disservice to him, to be honest.
I do as well. I mean,
I don't wish to, you know, talk down, you know, the wonderful Bristol Di Mai, but I mean, I think that you know, that 12-1 really should be bigger than that, I think. And
could we see that as possibly, if obviously pulled up a couple of years ago, or last year, whenever it was, in this race, A Plu Tard win and won. You know, could this be the last race for Bristol? I mean,
it might be. You don't know. You know, I mean, there's that day's got to be fast approaching, you think?
Of course, because we've always said about Bristol Di Mai, the best way to win your money on Bristol Di Mai is getting in the early months of the jump.
Yeah.
Because that's when you know you're going to get the ground that he'll thrive off. You know, that's when it always comes out fresh and very well.
Yeah.
But against these
but you have to question
now,
that, didn't you, against you know, the caliber of A Plu Tard, you know.
I've got a funny feeling that Petra will come and get for second. I think he'll be a good horse for coming in second. He's had a few good runs. He's like looking at on my sheet that he done finished fourth in the Betfair Bowl chase.
But, you know, he's running some, you know, good quality races, Jamie, isn't he? You know.
Yeah, he's been some good races. So I could reckon that Petra could go into second. Eduardo Allen, could it be a little bit too much for him, where he's just come out of running in the Charlie Hall chase, where he finished second behind Brave Man's Game.
It'd be interesting to see how much he put into that, wouldn't it? You know.
Yeah, mind you, Petra and Hello Allen have got good form on good and good to soft. So if it does come up on that them conditions at Haydock, that could be that might be a good race for second place. I can't see A Plu Tard losing it. Otherwise, it's the horse and the fence, because he's got to jump the fence. Haydock is a little bit of a challenge jumping these fences, even though they have took the bit of the height for the fences, because they were quite stiff of last year and all that. So I had to take a little bit of the stiffness out. There's a bit of a challenge on it. So really, it's a challenge between the fence and A Plu Tard for the Betfair race, and for the race for second. It's for me, it'll be either between Petra and Hello Allen, and I think Petra, because he's got the form. He's got, well, from last year, he's from 2, 1, 3, and 4. So he's got some good,
As I say, you can't knock him. You know what I'm say? He's running some, good quality races.
Yeah. Definitely.
And obviously, he can only, pit himself or challenge himself against the horses. He finds himself up against. And, unfortunately, he's running a few good ones over the course of those.
I can see Frodon be like, if he's in the race, I can see him up there. To me, I think I reckon most probably Frodon could go to the King George again. I reckon. Yeah. I think that'll be a prep. I think for a prep race. I think he will put a bit of effort into the race. Put them up against them. Obviously, I think Bristol Di Mai. Me personally, I have backed him a few times, and I've backed him when he finished fourth in the Gold Cup before. He's a good servant, but for me, he's to say, I think, could he be just a one-dimensional horse where he's just runs very well at Haydock, of like what Mark said, and between me and Mark have talked him to about. He's 11-year-old young, but he's had a few mishaps. He's had a few pull-ups and an unseat in his form. I reckon, to me, it could be his final swan song sort of thing.
Yeah, as Sean said, I think you
like
might be
Sean
right.
said, yeah. But I could, if he runs well, I could see Bristol Di Mai have a little spin round the national fences. You just don't know. But it's just.
When I say he's a wonderful horse, and I don't take anything away what he's achieved. I just think it's coming to that point which, well, no one wants to see the elites, the champions, like call it a day. You know what I mean? Nobody ever wanted to see Muhammad Ali retire. Do you know what I mean? But it happens. Yeah. You know, it does happen. And
I can see A Plu Tard
win
this, and this is for a prep run of a prep race and other races leading up to the Gold Cup, because he'll be odds, I would say, close to. Obviously, he'll be favourite. He'll be very, very low favourite for the Gold Cup if he wins this. But then, to me, for the Gold Cup, there's going to be another. I reckon there'll be a new kid on the block for the Gold Cup, and that'll be.
I'll tell you what.
Delphine Deschamps. Delphine Deschamps for me could be one for a challenger for the Gold Cup.
I think Henry de Bromhead will be absolutely delighted if he gets round, beats this lot like well enough, and obviously wins. I think he'll be absolutely delighted with that as a prep for bigger things. You know.
Yeah. I think like for any horse that wins a Gold Cup as big as it is, to then have as many prep runs as they would have planned out for this horse. You couldn't start in a much tougher race, in my opinion. You've got it's a small field, but it's a strong field. It's compact. It's going to be full of intensity. I say you've got Thrown On, Bristol Di Mai, Protector Rat, all these horses in there. And I think, yes, if it wins, it will definitely be the route for the Gold Cup. Just looking at.
Like I say, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not hoping for a good test, if you know what I mean. Looking at, like you say, Mark, a small field, but looking at them, none of them will be found want for trying.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And as a trainer, I bet that's what he's really hoping for. I bet even though the field dwindled from maybe the original entries and stuff like that, I bet he's actually thinking, do you know what? This could be ideal for us.
Yeah.
Because these lads that are left are gonna they'll really give it a go. They might not have the ability to be as good as A Plu Tard and win, but I bet he'd be absolutely delighted if he, as a not an absolute war of attrition, as Jamie's phrase used several times, but I think he'll be absolutely delighted if it's a stern test, and he comes through it, passes with flying colours. I think he'd be absolutely like all guns blazing, for.
Yeah, I think if you used to ask me now, ask me on the spot, who do I think would win this race? Despite I would love to see Thrown On, I honestly, hand on heart, feel that this race could be Bristol Di Mai's. I really, if the ground suits him, and
very much ground dependent.
It's all about the ground. If the ground suits him, I think A Plu Tard might come a little bit unstuck. It's a bold statement, but when you've got a horse who loves running around Haydock, loves the
Betfair. I'm like, as devil's advocate. Like I say, I don't want to sound like I'm belittling him, but I just think that is his only chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
It has to go against one of the others, I think, for him to win. And I don't wish to say it because it sounds like I'm being negative and nasty about it. I'm not. I just feel that, like, as some people that follow us would know, that I haven't been into sport half as long as certainly Jamie and Sean.
Yeah,
I know you've been in a fan for a while, Mark, but obviously I know your eye was originally sort of drawn with the flats. But Bristol Di Mai's kind of come and gone in my time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I haven't been in the sport that long, so it shows he wasn't a youngster when I got into the sport. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just think that, like I say, I know he runs well round there, and I think Sean kind of alluded to it. I think the whole Haydock principles come into it, obviously. because given the past records there. I just think, you know, looking at them last few runs he's had, like I say, the pull up, like I say, Jamie, you're right. He's a trier. He fights. He's there or thereabouts. But I think we've seen that, you know, when it's come to the, you know, the crux of the matter, he's just not Bristol Di Mai that we all sort of knew and loved, if you know what I mean. And I think personally, Mark, that is the only way you'll win it. I think the conditions have to go against one of the others, and you know, go, you know, like I say, arguably in his favour that it's particular, you know, heavy ground and those sort of conditions, and that's also hoping or assuming that, and I haven't looked, but that's also hoping and assuming that none of the others handle that as well.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I say I could be wrong.
I mean, I'm just hoping that one of the bookies might do a special bet and say how many lengths that A Plu Tard will win, like 10 lengths, because I mean last year he won by by 22 lengths. How many lengths is he going to win like this year?
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know, me personally, I think Harry De Bruyne stable is starting to kick in now and starting to get into form, I reckon. There's a few mishaps on some of his horses and all that, but some of his major ones have gone in. So I reckon that one of the bookies are going to do a major name, like, you know, 10 plus, you know.
Yeah. Like I say, there's so many betting companies out there, Jay. You can find that sort of bet somewhere, can't you? You know. Okay. Does anybody sort of got anything else to add they wanted to add, or
not really?
No? Not on that one. I think it's a foregone conclusion. I think we all got to that. Well,
okay, all right. Well, as I say, as we said, you know, I mean, we are very much in advance. So, do we want to have a quick sort of brief discussion and maybe about the stayers on the same day?
Yeah, it's a decent little field in that, isn't there?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
that'd be good, because it could be.
I'll throw it open then to anybody want to sort of kick us off then, or?
Yeah, I like the Sam Thomas horse. Good risk at all. Going to step up and trip for this one, it seems. Sam Thomas obviously he's had his the incident in the helicopter incident. That was Sam Thomas, wasn't it, in a week? And by the sounds of it, everyone's come out of that well, and thank God. But he seems to be on a bit of form as well. Again, it's a step up for the horse in distance. But if form's anything to go by, the step up and trip, he only seems to get better as the race goes on, if that makes sense. So going up a little bit further will probably only benefit. Reasonably slick hurdler as it is anyway, so stepping up a little bit further will probably do the job. I mean, you've got Botox House in there as well at the moment as well for Gary Moore, who we know his name's always bandied about with these staying type of hurdles. So yeah, it's a decent little field. But for me, again, it's early doors, isn't it, really? I mean, you're looking at a field that's got about 16 two-tone greens in it. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, there's so many.
Just glancing over that, I'll tell you who where is he in the betting, Sean? Where's
who is it?
Really?
Call me Lord?
No, the other one.
Wholestone, Fusil Raffles.
No. Oh, bro, I was just looking at him a minute ago. Gold Cup Bailey.
Oh, Gold Cup Bailey. Yes.
20-1.
Hey?
20-1.
20-1 at the moment. Yeah.
I tell you what, he won well the other day, you know.
Yeah, very well indeed. Again, no,
I don't know what conditions. Obviously, that was on heavy. You know what I mean? But
it was, and it's going to be another step up, another half a mile, like, you know, step up. So it's. But again, out of the two tones, that's a more unexposed, shall we say? So there's a little bit more scope probably in that one when you look at Fusil Raffles, Wholestone, Call Me Lord. Again, we know all of these aren't going to run, but they're entered, so we're more than inclined to discuss them. They're the more hardened type of hurdlers. Well, those three flip between hurdles and the chasing fences, didn't they? So we know they've got a bit about them.
I'll tell you one horse I'm really looking forward to seeing in this race if he runs, and I'd love to. It's the forgotten Imperial Aura.
Yeah, I sort of just.
You know, we all listen.
Yeah.
You know, I was just there flicking at the form, you know, and it was incredible. You know, some of his performances. I remember performance that he had at Ascot, and he was just incredible running on heavy ground. And it was just ever since he unseated the rider at Kempton, it's just gone spiral. It's just gone so downhill.
I was going to say the form on that horse reads more like Scrabble ball, doesn't it? There's actually no.
You get more points than prizes. Good
Yeah,
game.
on that way, you look at that form there, and bless it. I know what you're saying, Mark, and I do fully appreciate what you're saying. But when you're looking at a horse where there isn't a number, where he's not yet finished the race in the last 5, you have to understand people are going to be hesitant to put any money near it. Really,
no, listen, of course, but it's like it's like what Glenn stipulated, a few moments ago about Bristol Di Mai. That horse that was there that time, it was incredible. And listen, I do completely agree. Because he was pulled up 3 times in the last 5. He's unseated the rider and he's fells. He's done absolutely everything in the last 5 apart from finish.
Yeah.
So times can change for that. I think My Eye was another one that I quite like the look of Harry Fry.
I'll tell you who I might be tempted to, and I was disappointed he never ran at the festival, and that's that Wackle.
Yeah, it's another one.
Wackle, he racked up, should I say, a 3-timer over the 3 mile. All right, it was at Musselburgh now. But even though he dipped a bit, but he still had a 2nd at Musselburgh, then he had a 3rd at Kelso, and then he won at Ayr. Not long ago on the 29th.
Well, I backed Wackle.
I backed it a couple of times, and I even had it in an anti-post, and obviously it didn't happen because it never went. I was a bit disappointed. It would nice to have seen, or would have been interested to see how he did there.
It'd be interesting to stay.
That's 12 to 1, so that's a not a bad price. I don't think.
It'd be interesting how the Stayers division do this year, because we need to have a bit of a challenge for the Irish, especially with Florian Porter winning the world or the Stayers hurdle last season and the season before. We need a bit of oomph in our England UK team. I think we need.
Because obviously Tyne Hill's gone over the larger obstacles now.
He's gone larger.
So obviously you start looking back at it, and you need these sort of races, like Jamie was alluding to. You need these sort of races to pull something out of the bag to kind of give us a fighting chance. To be honest,
exactly. To put us
this Stayers division, it can be wide open, but with Florian Porter being, Florian Porter and done very well for Gavin Conwell. I think you can't really not trust, but rely on Paisley Park all the time.
No,
he's going to be 11 or 12. For next March.
So you got old what's the name in there as well? Dolphin Square,
Dolphin Square.
I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting what actually comes out of the pack in that race. Obviously, I haven't got any info at the moment, but I will be having a look in the big field, and I reckon, like what you said, like Rakul, he's done well. He's he could be an exposed horse for going over Stayers. You might have Call Me Lord. Call Me Lord don't run very well. Was it in Kempton? Was it Kempton that he won?
In the week, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the week. He done that very well, and Nico went, he can step up a little bit further. So, I think we just need something. I will have a look, and I will post something up. But Wackle looks a good each way price for me if it's going to be.
Leading on to your point, Joe. That's why I could be wrong, but I like the idea of that Gold Cup Bailey, because he's 6. There's only 6, which obviously in terms of jumps is a baby, isn't it? Really, not like your flat racing, but he's won a point-to-point over 3 miles. He was 3rd in December of 21, but he's been running at 2 mile 4, 2 mile 4, 2 mile 4. Like I say, he could have some untapped potential as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm going along the same lines as that. Good risk at all, to be honest with Sam Thomas. Like you said, Glenn, still a 6-year-old, still plenty of scope. Again, he's going to have to step up and run in 2.5. But yeah, I think more than capable. I'd be looking that way, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think another one.
Fusil Raffles has got an entry in a minute as well.
Just looking at another one, a horse called Complete Unknown for Paul Nichols. That's another one that's been, in the top 3 the last 6 races.
It'll be a good race, to be fair. It'll be a good little race.
It will be, yeah. It's definitely one of those that you could just scroll down and do a Jamie Brownlow and be like, do you know what? I'm going to do a Brucey bonus. I'm going to do a Gold Cup Bailey, 20 to 1. There you go. Probably paying 1 to 5, maybe. You know, maybe in this race, big field.
Well, so like you say, Mark, I think you could sort of come up with a reason for a few of them, really, can't you?
Oh, you could for this one, yeah, 100%.
Well,
yeah.
for that stayers race, I'll put an each way full record for me. But I don't know what you like, Sean and Glenn and Mark, for that.
I'm going to go good risk at all, Sam Thomas.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm quite tempted now looking at it, because I say I've been quite busy myself at work, but looking at it now, I am quite tempted to go for either of those two, Jamie, Wackle or Gold Cup Bailey. I might even do both, do whatever, you know what I mean? But I think you can, like I say, there's quite a few you can make a case for. I see you've got Lisnagar Oscar there.
Lisnagar Oscar, he's no mug either. He's no mug.
But is he as good as that win, Joe?
Don't know.
Did all the cards fall the right way that day?
Well, they did on that day, didn't they? But you don't know what you get with that horse.
I mean, Rebecca Curtis is starting to get her stable back in form. She's you can't underestimate Rebecca Curtis, especially, I know she's got there's quite a few trainers in Wales. It's not it's a good catchment area where you got Tim Vaughan and you got Mr. Bowen and all that, and Peter Bowen and all that. But I think Rebecca Curtis, she's a good trainer. With Lisnagar Oscar, and also that's a winner from the was the World Hurdle or obviously the Stayers Hurdle, but won the World Hurdle in big price at 33 to 1 last time when it won. So you just don't know.
I'm just looking there. You've got Get a Tonic for Dan Skelton.
Yeah.
Thinking about 9 bets on come that day.
Yeah.
This right?
You know what I mean? But are you not looking at that the same as I'm? I'm looking at that thinking, but it's a seasonal reappearance.
Yeah,
that's a seasonal reappearance. That's quite an ask to put an horse into a seasonal reappearance of a race. That could not, obviously they won't all go, I'm sure, but do you know what I mean? That's quite. It must show a bit of confidence than
100%
the horse to think, well, let's put an entry in there, because if we go there, do you know what I mean? It'll be, we might.
Yeah.
Well, he might put it in thinking, man, got hope in hell, but I doubt Dan would do that.
Yeah.
I mean, even that's a little tell to me. Do you know what I mean? You're thinking, well, that's a seasonal reappearance, and he's sticking. And at the moment, they got an entry in that race.
Who do you like, Mark? Who do you like in the Stayers?
Yeah, I better stop talking before I back them all.
My main bet is going to be complete unknown for Paul Nicholls.
Well, tell us then.
My main danger is going to be Wholestone, the trainer Nigel Twiston Davis, and my Brucey bonus is going for Nicky Henderson's Call Me Lord.
There you go. You've had it there. You got your tri-cast there.
There you go. If that comes in, lads, we've got a box of the Gold Cup at Cheltenham. So
I'm watching it from the Coca-Cabana, mate. If you win that,
we can only hope.
Right. Well, okay then, lads. That sort of had a good look at both, I think, haven't we? We sort of covered quite a bit.
Just quickly, Glenn. I've
mate.
just had a look. Allaho is set to miss King George.
Oh, okay.
But Allaho won't be running in the King George.
I'll tell you what, that opens it up, and if
it doesn't open it up for Frodon, though.
I was just about to say,
just stop it now, please.
That could open the door.
There we go.
For the mighty Frodon to go back.
Quickly wrap it up. Go on, mate.
I could feel Willie Mullins phoning Sean there to go, which horse do you want to go for?
I must admit, Galloping Deschamps does have an entry in the King George, and that is my 2023 Gold Cup winner, without a shadow of a doubt. But we'll speak about that on another day.
Yeah, right. Okay, so there we go. Before we turns into the Frodon show, we'll end it there.
I've been quite civil.
Obviously, King George, obviously to look forward to. Tingle Creek. That reminds me, must get my ticket. Hopefully there'll be Well, hopefully we can all go, lads, or whoever can make it. I think some people might be busy. But yeah, well, that's it then, folks. We'll see you again for another video as soon as we can get back together again.
Yeah, indeed.
Let me put a plug. You can always tweet at Money Rider.
That's true. Yes, of course you can.
Subscribe on YouTube. Just search Money Rider Racing, or just tweet between us from Mr. Brownlow, Mark, Glenn, or Sean. There you go,
or
Glenn.
contact Mr. Head of PR for Money Rider, Jamie Brownlow. Okay, guys. Pleasure as always. Always great fun talking about racing. See you again soon, lads.
See you soon.
Then, gents. See ya.
Bye.
Ta-ra.